Hey there, Daniel from GrowYourMusicStudio.com. In this video, I want to talk to you about something I've noticed with some of the people I've been working with lately. So I just got off the phone with a music studio owner about an hour ago, and this person is no different than a lot of studio owners I worked with last year. I worked with over 150 studios last year. And something I've noticed is this, and this is kind of the 50,000 foot view about running a studio business, is that a lot of times there's a catch-22 to becoming more successful. Here's what I mean. The catch-22 is this. A lot of music studio owners, a lot of music business owners come to me because they don't have enough leads or there's not enough revenue in the studio. Or not just me, perhaps they're going out looking for solutions. They can find solutions anywhere. Go to YouTube, type in how to get more leads for your business. You're gonna get a million videos. Go to Google, do the same thing. So it isn't just coming to me. It's really anyone who's looking to solve the problem of not enough leads, not enough revenue, not enough customers. If they actually succeed in solving that problem, they have a new issue. Is that oftentimes the reason why their leads weren't high to begin with, oftentimes the reason why their revenue wasn't high enough to begin with, is that they weren't doing the actions necessary to have that kind of result. And so once they add that to their schedule, once they add that and they actually start calendaring out the kinds of marketing activities they should be doing every month, they often find themselves having to do more than they ever did before. And at the same time, they have more customers and therefore they temporarily have this problem of too much to do, not enough time to do it. And so the problem here, and this is really what the topic of the video is about. This is a little bit of a different start to a video. A lot of times I just jump straight into a concept, but I want to kind of tell the story here first. The problem is that many studio owners are stressed out simply because of lack of time, lack of leads, and different things like that. And so I want to share with you one of my more favorite quotes to kind of deal with just something I think is in the zeitgeist as there are more people becoming aware that running a studio is actually a business. Over the last 5 years, I've seen really the piano teaching world kind of change in that people are beginning to take serious marketing. Even studio owners that have small studios, so to speak, are beginning to take marketing seriously in a way that used to only be true for people who are running multi-hundred student studios. So here's the quote. I'm just going to read it. The best things in life are found where the level of stress breaks most people. Learn to handle a level of stress that would break most people. And kind of the further part of the quote is, the world is too hard for most people. To keep people from giving up or checking out, the level of competition in the world has fallen. When things get a little difficult, most people give up. But the best things in life are found where the level of stress breaks most people. If you can learn to thrive here, then you will be a winner. This is guaranteed. So here's the thought. And this is something I've said often. This phrase often comes up in the videos that I do or the blog posts that I write or the emails that I write. But it's this. If you can learn to handle that level of stress, maybe a better way to put it would be that level of productivity, that level of activity, you're going to thrive. You're going to be in the top 10% of your field. You will have top 10% success, top 10% numbers, top 10% income, top 10% results. I can't say it more simply than this. And what I will say is this video is going to be a little more raw than most videos that I've done in the past or recently. I think there's some hard truths in here, maybe even borderline offensive. But this is my experience. And again, like I mentioned before, I worked with 150 studios last year. And I'm seeing things now that I didn't see before a couple years ago when I was working with a lot fewer studios. And so I think it would be dishonest not to share what I'm about ready to share with you. So this is kind of the first thought. What do most people do when they experience stress? What do most business owners do when they experience stress? What do most studio owners do when they experience stress? This is human nature. I'm not calling anyone out in particular, but this is it. I can speak from my own experience. Most people will run. They will do unproductive activities. They will do things to avoid having to do the hard but necessary work that needs to be done. I will tell you, in making this video, I thought about some of the things I was getting ready to say. I really didn't want to make this video. I intended to do this video at 11 o'clock today, and even I kind of put it off because I thought, let me make sure that I'm saying the right thing. So I'm guilty of this today, all right? Sometimes the thing that needs to be done causes, again, this is just that word, but it causes stress. It causes a delay. It causes putting off, causes doing unproductive activities. So let me unpack this idea, because this video won't be very helpful if this is just an abstract thought. Where do most studio owners experience stress? What I've seen over the last couple years, 3 areas. Marketing. Second, getting kids to practice. Third, dealing with studio parents, basically customer service issues. So let's look at how most people handle it. And we're just going to go right down the list here. Number 1, marketing. What do most people do when they're experiencing stress in marketing, leads, not enough revenue, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? People run for the quick fix. They think tactically instead of thinking strategically. They will log onto Facebook to get their endorphin fix for the day, maybe go to some of the Facebook groups, look for some advice, maybe go in, read complaint threads that other teachers have, look at some of the advice that's there, maybe get a good idea based on an observation someone makes. And if they have the discipline to follow through on that idea, they end up getting discouraged. And again, I'm not calling out anyone in particular. It's just what has been reported to me. They get discouraged because all they saw was a random piece of advice from this thinker, or they saw a random Facebook thread. And because they tried something tactically that wasn't connected to a larger strategy, they're now even more discouraged than they were before, because they actually did something. They actually took action, but it didn't play out in the way they thought it would. Another way, again, like I said, I'm being super raw here today. Most of the things I'm talking about, I can also say from personal experience as well. They'll run to cheap or free coaching. They will run to Band-Aids that deal with the surface level issues instead of addressing deep-seated illness in their strategy, in how they're handling their studio business. So that is kind of the quick fix that people run to. What should a studio owner do? Okay, here's just a couple ideas off the top of my head. Spend time reading the classics. Information is infinitely available now. There is no need to look at information that is being randomly doled out to you. And this includes even my own videos. I do make videos that are tactical in nature. They can be helpful. But many people who have watched my videos, who have come on later to work with me, understand at a deeper level some of the things that I said in the random video, because it was now connected to a larger strategy that we were working on. So my point, go to some of the classics that have stood the test of time. So maybe ignore my videos. That might actually be a really good idea. Ignore the Facebook group advice. Ignore the random advice that's doled out. Ignore, the random person that's saying, hey, this is what worked for me. Go to classic books, books that are 20, 30, 50, 100 years old, books that the sharpest marketing minds of our time say, hey, this is actually worth reading. Examples, My Life in Advertising by Claude Hopkins. I think it was by Claude Hopkins. Breakthrough Advertising, Dan Kennedy's book called The Ultimate Sales Letter. These are books that have stood the test of time. They are meat. They are not fluffy cotton candy advice. These are things that will help you understand at a very deep level strategic thinking. Another book, this one blew my mind. I had to read it very, very slowly because there was just so much meat there. Stealth Marketing by Jay Abraham. That one might be that really is aimed for much bigger businesses than the businesses we run, but if you can understand what he's talking about there and apply it at the level that we're working at, you can absolutely clean up against competition. Another thing you can do is learn from someone who has actually done it. And I'm not talking listening to random advice. I mean actually building a relationship with that person, whether it's in a mastermind or you hire a coach or something like that. Or this is the adult grown-up thing to do, invest in someone actually building the marketing for you. Maybe the best thing that you could do for the marketing for your studio wouldn't be to do it yourself. Maybe it's going to someone else and actually having them build things out for you. I might do a video in the near future about this, but I have actually invested some money with a marketing agency right now. I'm in process with them for them to do a large marketing project that I could have done on my own, but I would rather outsource to them. So that could be the adult thing to do, as opposed to, again, just kind of living in the stress of, oh no, not enough leads, not enough revenue. What should you do instead? Read the classics, understand strategically what you should be doing, not going for tactical advice, or maybe reaching out to other people, getting them involved, and having a substantive, deep relationship, not a casual drive-by relationship that you might get, in a random forum, in a random Facebook group, just unsolicited advice. So there it is. Second place that I've seen a lot of studio owners experience stress is in getting kids to practice. So this is obviously a huge departure from the previous topic. We're going to move from the marketing and advertising and sales part of your business to the product and operations part of your business. So you are vulnerable if your product is dependent on the success of the person who is using the product. That's the end user. That's the parent. That's the child if you teach children. That's the adult student if you teach adult students. If you teach adult students and they are busy because of their job, that is a vulnerability for you because they will quit your product because they don't have time to use it or they're not feeling successful in using that product. So how do most people handle the stress around getting their students to practice and have success in their studio? This is what I want to say. If the success of the student depends on their practicing, then that means for the people involved to truly have success with the product, you have to demand practice. But people can say no. But here's what's true. I want to compare, I'm going to go outside the music industry for just a second. Let's compare maybe having a random membership to Me Fitness or Anytime Fitness or LA Fitness, some of these fitness clubs. Compare that to someone who is enrolled at a CrossFit box. Now, your opinion of any of these clubs or CrossFit or anything of that or health in general is immaterial to this. Like, it's not my intent to make a statement about those things. This video is already going to be controversial enough without me going there. But the people typically who are enrolled in a CrossFit box are paying 4 to 5 times per month what it costs to be enrolled in just a random gym that they have a membership to. And typically, the people who are enrolled in a CrossFit program are far more committed and attend classes far more than people who are randomly have a random gym membership. And so, to pull this all back in, I think you see where I'm going with this. If your product success demands on them practicing, then what you have to do is create a premium studio, charge premium prices, give premium lessons, and you will see people actually take it seriously. But if you're not willing to charge premium prices, then you need to admit that you're running a mass market studio, but expecting a premium program results. This culture of 2019 is not the culture of 30 years ago when we were kids, or 30 or 40 or 50 years ago. When we were kids, the culture is much, much different now. If you're expecting a premium studio result, but running a mass market studio and charging mass market prices, don't be surprised when you get mass market results. And this is just how sales and products works. So again, don't expect a Cadillac experience when you're giving a Honda Accord lessons and doing Honda Accord marketing and charging Honda Accord prices. To rectify the situation, you have to match up, quote unquote, let's say your playbook for happiness or your playbook for decreasing stress with your actual life conditions, with what you're actually doing. The problem is that there's a lack of continuity between what you're charging and what you're marketing and what you're saying you're going to deliver on and what you're actually expecting. So you either need to change your expectations or change the way that you're marketing things and change the way you're charging things. But again, most teachers are very nervous to charge premium prices because it demands that the marketing be much, much better. And it demands that you go after a smaller class of client. And I'm not talking like charging double or triple or 4 times as much as I mentioned with the CrossFit box earlier. It might just be that you need to be 30 to 50% higher than the market around you. But you're going to get more committed people, or you might get people who just take it more seriously because you are charging a higher price. So I kind of blended the stressor and how to solve it there on that particular one, but that's it. The stressor is involved with how you're actually marketing or how you're conceiving of your lessons. The change is in how you're marketing things and how you're talking about things. Final thought here is in dealing with parents. And you only need to scroll about 10 comments into any Facebook group that has over a couple thousand members to find things like teachers talking about parents who are asking for special favors or exceptions to their policies or just breaking the policies and then getting passive aggressive with the teacher or the studio owner. I was in a Facebook group about a month ago, and someone had this thread, and they said that they were hurt because they'd gone above and beyond. They'd gone overboard for this one family. They'd been teaching them for 5 years. They loved the family. They'd done all these special things for the student, and then they broke up with them by text. And they were hurt because of it. Or there's someone who's in my Successful Group Lessons program, and I'm not going to say anything by name, but she and I have had conversations about this, so I know she's fine with me talking about this. But thinking of her studio families as family, treating them as if they were family, like literally she treats them the same way she would treat her sister's kids, that sort of thing, or a family member. So how do people deal with the stress of this? Running from these situations, fighting with parents, getting hurt, taking things personally. None of these are particularly helpful. And again, this is where I said this video can be borderline offensive, but they're not particularly helpful. They're not particularly professional ways to handle this either. So how do we solve this problem? What should be done here? And it's to understand how these business relationships work. And that is the concept of the triangle. And I've spoken about this before. But it's the idea that we have our business on this point of the triangle. We have our customers over here, and this is us. And we can control our relationship to the business, and we can control our relationship with the customer, but we cannot control how the customer relates to the business. We can't control what they think about pricing. We can't control how they deal with our policies. We can't control their actions and how they treat us. All we can do is control our relationship with them and our relationship with the business. And so what most people do is they try to reach across the triangle to this relationship that they cannot control, and they want to control the actions of others. They want to control, what do I put in my policy so they can't break up with me by text? Oh, well, what you need to do is make them give you a month notice. And then, 6 months later, same teacher's coming back and saying, hey, I'm so hurt right now. People are supposed to give me 1 month's notice, and they're just quitting, and saying we're not coming next week and we're not paying. I'm so hurt. I'm so upset. I'm so frustrated. The problem is back at the marketing level. The problem is back at the kinds of behavior that are allowed and accepted. If you get the marketing wing of your business under control and you have an insane number of leads coming in, okay? Example, over the last 45 days, or however far we are into this year, I think the number of leads that have come in is something around 35. And I have my ads shut off right now. If people quit, I have this large pool of people from which I can choose to pull new students from. That gives me an enormous amount of leverage when it comes to people treating me passive aggressively, people not wanting to abide by rules. There was a family that I could tell they were trying to manipulate me towards the end of last year, kind of dangling over my head that they might quit. And I just casually mentioned, I was like, hey, you know what? I don't want you all to stay. Like I kind of played dumb. I don't want you to stay, if this really isn't working out for you. I just don't think that's fair to her or to you all. So, just let me know. I have a couple dozen people that are waiting to start, and, I'm not going to take it personally if you all decide to quit. Just kind of playing really dumb as if I don't know they're trying to manipulate me. And it all stopped. As soon as they heard me say those sorts of things in a kind way, not rude, not aggressive, all that nonsense just stopped, and they stayed. So that's kind of how we deal with that third problem. So, the problem of the stressed out studio owner, man, say that 5 times fast. Marketing, students not practicing, in other words, product vulnerability, customer service issues, these 3 areas of great stress, these are the common ways that they show up. These are the common ways that people deal with them unhelpfully. Again, not trying to be offensive here, but just calling out patterns that I see. Maybe you can identify in some of those, and then giving some really practical hands-on advice on how to deal with that. Would love to see your comments below. Love to hear a shout out from you or how this was helpful. Maybe where you disagree, maybe where you have some criticisms of some of the thoughts here. Would love to have a conversation with you about it, whether on this comment thread or on email if you just want to drop me a line. So anyway, have a great day. Have a great rest of your week. I'm going to be doing a lot more live videos over the next month. So if you have a topic you'd like me to address, drop that in the comments too. Anyway, have a great day. Have some great lessons this week. And maybe all of us together, we can beat some of these stressors that are common in our business. Catch you in the next video.